Today, as it was last year, we had an axle stud issue. So the last you remember, we couldn't get these studs out because they were screw-in and we didn't have any replacements for it. We're here to alleviate that, or at least try to. So we're gonna get the car in here on the lift. We're gonna pull the tires off the back. We are going to mess with the axle studs. So hopefully we can get that fixed, and maybe we'll take this down the track again. We have unfinished business with this car before we start taking any driveline apart. Because you remember we were gonna do that video with the tubular and the Cobra intake versus the Explorer intake on the dyno. That's one of the main reasons why we pulled Dad's car out of its hole, is to get it kind of shook down a little bit, to get the axle studs in that we needed to do for the safety, do that video before we start taking it apart for the coupe. So stick around, let's get into it. All right, just like I had thought, this is the screw-in 3-inch studs, as you can see back here. This was one of the issues that we had last year with it. So we're gonna have to actually pull these axles out. So the other sides were bent real bad. We tried to straighten them out. Definitely not a good sign here. We're gonna have to actually go to the back here and take the Cclip eliminator out, pull the axle out, which is kind of nice because all you really gotta do is just take the 4 bolts off right here, and the axle should slide out without much of a problem. I don't think we'll have to actually take the diff out. Now, Cclip eliminators are one of my top mods when you start making some power. We had broke a axle in Dad's car years ago. And left me on the track, and the axle started coming out the back of the car. So we put these on for safe measure a while ago, but I didn't know they were screw-in. So we're gonna be replacing the Moser with the nice ARP ones that I run on my white car. They should withstand some of the torque that we put in these cars pretty easy. And then maybe we could take the car back down the track, go do that video. Okay, last I left you guys, we were working on Dad's car here the other day when we were pulling out the axles. Like, I did get ahead of myself the other day and started pulling this axle out, but I kind of put it back in its place with one of the screws because it was getting gear lube all over the floor. So, but we didn't put the Cclips back in, which is good because we have Cclip eliminators anyways. So we're gonna pull these axles out. Like I said, these are screw-in, and I got a set of ARPs that hopefully will fit. I'm pretty sure they're the same as the axle, being right hand half 20. So we should be able to get these things swapped out in pretty much no time, get them locked in. You know, the studs on the back don't hit or interfere with any of our brake pieces, because I didn't even think about that, but I think we should be okay. I guess we will see. So we'll go ahead and get these axle back out. You know, we're gonna take a look to make sure that this clears, but it looks like the Cclip eliminator won't be much of a problem. But the only way to find out is just to go ahead and take this back out again. So I am going to lose some fluid here, as I already know. We're going to end up putting more fluid in it anyways. We're just trying to get the axle out so we can... Oh, we're making a mess here. So we're going to take it over here to the wash tank, where we'll get started on just kind of cleaning the axle off. We'll let that drain over there. I got to clean this area here, get all the gasket sealer off, because I'm going to actually have to reseal it. But this is where we have to, you know, get these to come out, put the other ones in. And you can actually see how twisted they are. We tried to straighten them out the best we can, but these are just all bent to hell. And this car only makes like you know, 350, 400 on like 8 pounds of boost. It doesn't make, so this tells you, if this tells you anything, I mean, I just wouldn't, I'm not gonna run these ever again. The ARPs that I run on my white car that's sitting over here, we're about to put in here, have always been a go-to for me. Now guys, once again, I'm not here to steer you one way or the other with the axle studs. The Moroso ones worked for me for years. I just started getting up past 500, 600 horsepower and bending a few of them, but I also run them in 3-inch length. So like I said, we're gonna go ahead and get these out and see if they actually come out without any issues. Okay, so we got this all switched up nice and straight, got them torqued in. So we're gonna go ahead and get this block. This is the Cclip eliminator. For those that don't know what this is, this keeps your axle from actually coming out of the car, and it takes the place of the 4 bolts that your brake backing plate bolts up to, as you guys seen me taking it apart. What's this good for? Well, one of the issues with the axles, the Cclips like to break, because the clip that actually is on the end of this, because these were original Cclip axles, was this kind of eliminated it. This allows it so if this axle shaft actually breaks, it doesn't fly out of the car, because we did have that issue with the blue car a couple years ago. I had the original Cclips in on the stock axle and about flew out the back of the axle. So yeah, we're gonna get this cleaned up and get it installed, and then we'll get this axle in and sealed up and work on the other side and be done with this project. And this is something that we've been meaning to do for over a year or so. So make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video, as we're gonna talk about what's next for Dad's car. Okay, that's pretty much all I got for you for this video. The whole purpose of the video was to, you just get this work done on my dad's car that needed to be done for so long. We're just going to pretty much replicate what we did on this side in this video on the other side, just putting the new studs in. And I'm going to be happy that, when we actually use this axle in the other car, that these are probably going to be no problem. They're not going to bend or whatever. We're eventually going to have to drain it anyways and put the brace on it and, tack up the tubes and stuff. This is axle maintenance at its best. I mean, this is kind of where you're at. What's the purpose of this video? Well, you guys get to see firsthand on the Cclip eliminator and what it kind of does. You get to see what axle studs. I like to run the 3 inches because it'll give you options when you're running spacers with your car, with back spacing and 5-lug wheels and such like that. And I'm always trying to bring good content to the channel that shows you something informative in it that you may not know. If you take anything from it, know that I run 3-inch studs on pretty much all my axles. Cclip eliminator is a great mod when you're ordering axles to go ahead and get rid of the Cclip in it, for your safety and such. Even on the street, doing burnouts, doing brodies, doing whatever you do, and even just occasionally taking it to a track. This is probably one of the better mods for your axles that you can do. With Dad's car, we're still going to be doing the GT40 shootout with the Explorer, the Tubular, and the Cobra that I have sitting over here. The car run a little, we're gonna have to check the plugs and maybe tune it up a little bit, but we'll do a couple videos and then we're gonna be doing an engine swap with it. So if you guys enjoyed this sort of content, if it was helpful for you, check that join button below, become a member today. They get exclusive content to the channel. But outside that, I appreciate you guys watching. See you soon in the next video.